Alright, so tonight will just be more randomness with code and me just trying to hack things together, because I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants with all this. Alright, so what do we need to look at? Well, one of the things I need to look at would be this set look direction in the crab radar, because in my clam radar I do need to have it set a look direction, and I don't think um, well, I guess it is in here. It is already implemented. But rich AI giant clam target is not null. Let's see here. The target transform dot position is less than my transform position, and then I have some rotation values in here. And I need to check that those rotation values are actually the rotation values that I need to be using. And let me go check this. Go to implementation, find usages. That's the only usage. Okay. Rotation game object. Do I ever set the rotation game object? Because that would explain why it wouldn't be rotating at all. Because if I go look in the game view, it's always just facing this direction. And some of this is because I wasn't really paying attention to the direction it was looking when I modeled it. Like, see, that one's facing that way on Z. This one is facing the opposite direction on the Z-axis. And I can just go in and fix that if I want to rotate around the character. I'm going to take a look at that real quick and just see how easy that would be to do. Since it's already rigged and everything, I might not actually want to do that, and I guess, as long as it's all in code, it's not too big of a deal anyway. So let's see here. I don't want to mess around with any of the actions or the actor. I just want to go here and see if I could maybe... I think really the only way to do it would be to rotate the rig on Y completely around on 180. Problem with that is going to be that if I go back to the animation stuff and say, let's say, look at an action. Well, let's try just chomp. Yeah, see, he's looking back the other direction. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'll just use different values in here. So let's see. I need to get the rotation game object. Set look direction, rotation game object. So you can go in here and see implementation, rotation game object, and where? Oh, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, in the setup. The setup is where I should be getting the rotation game object. So, for example, in here, the rotation game object is simply the scene file. So where is my giant clam setup? Do I have a rotation game object in here? Yes, I do. And we set you to the giant clam game object. So then in the clam radar, where is my clam radar? Alright, so down in here we just need to assign the variable. Giant clam radar dot rotation game object is assigned the rotation game object from here. Now it should actually rotate. Problem is that the rotation values are going to be wrong. So let's see. What would they need to be? Instead of, let's say, if go to the radar and set look direction, just find it here. So let's just plug in. This one should be if PJ is to the left of me, or the target basically is to the left of me. And let's go to the rotation game object and just type that in. Alright, so it gets reset to negative 102, and we don't even want it at positive 102. So let's go check and see. Basically what I'm doing, well, let's check 102.5. Ah, well, I guess that is that one. So let me think about this for a second. 257.5 out of 360. Let's bring up calculator. 360 minus 257.5 is 102.5. So I'm subtracting 102.5 from it, and then I'm adding 102.5 from 0. So let's see what the... I'm going to be failing math here for a moment for some reason. So instead of 102.5, which makes it look that way, what would I be doing? Say 102.5 minus 90, so like what, 12.5? Nah, that's not going to work either. Well, let's kind of get it. So 102.5 is that way. I'd want it to be more this way, which we could try in 90 minus the difference, so 12.5, which should be 77.5, I think. I don't know if we can try that one. Let's see if that works out with math here. 77.5 plus, what was it? Was it 12? 102, 90, yeah, 12.5. Should be 90. Alright, and that looks, that's probably the right direction, the right rotation for the left side. Now we need to look at the right side. Let's go up here again and say, so instead of, well, actually, I can probably just set this to negative 77.5. So actually having it look this direction works a lot easier for me. Having it look the wrong direction, the math seems a little simpler instead of, because the values are just, one's a positive and one's a negative, instead of these the other weird values of like 250 blah 0.5 and 102.5. This actually looks cleaner to me. Alright, and with that set, with the game object set, I should actually be able to go in here and test to make sure that this is looking in the right direction at least. I'm going to save that. I'll just try playing this. As soon as it's done, I guess, with the script import. Okay. That's probably loud. Okay, I just muted that everywhere. Let's go to World 1 and go to the level here. I'm gonna have to kill this guy. Die. Okay. Now what are you targeting? I think it's looking in the right direction. But, well, I mean, it's looking in the opposite of the right direction, but at least the rotation isn't bad. It's just a matter of saying, what are you looking at? So, okay, none of this stuff is set up on radar, because radar isn't active. Let me see what happens when I make radar active. Okay, so no. So why is radar not active? maybe I disabled it. Which AI giant clam is not assigned on radar? So that was going to be a problem. Okay, let's go see what we have here on the giant clam radar. It looks like go up to the top here. So where is the script list? Rich AI giant clam. Well, I guess there are going to be, so there are usages. It's just not, yeah, it's never assigned. So that needs to be assigned from Clam setup. Just I'm going to go ahead and bring that over. So this dot rich AI giant clam is assigned rich AI giant clam. Uh-oh. That's not what I want. Do I have a rich AI giant clam here? Yep, script. I forgot. Put script in front of it. Okay. Then the RVO controller is going to be assigned RVO? No? RVO. Script RVO controller. The clam pickup script. Dot clam pickup script should be assigned script clam pickup. The movement FSM, need to do this dot movement FSM is assigned the movement FSM that has already been gotten here. The, let's see, take damage FSM is assigned the take damage FSM from here. Let's see, the animator. Do I have the animator done yet? Animator is assigned the animator. I guess I didn't have it already done. It's not showing up on that list. Let's see, activation range. That should get set within here. It does. I guess a good thing to do would be to go in here and hit play and just kind of see what's missing. And I've muted the audio from the system because it was pretty loud. If you want to hear music from the game, though, you can check out my YouTube channel and see the latest video I updated has some of the music. But just audio volume stuff here in Twitch, I don't want to blast your ears out. Okay, so I need to pause this and take a look at Mr. Clam and see what's going on here with the giant radar. So all this stuff is assigned. The player, target, game object, all that stuff's not assigned yet because, well, this is disabled. And I'm guessing that I had it disabled just on the the look direction. Alright, let's clear this stuff out and see what we got hit with here. Radar awake, not assigned to an instance of an object. Movement FSM, let's go have a look. And this is all, you know, having these kinds of bugs is kind of expected at this point, since I'm just hacking together code from the different scripts. So the look direction game object in Giant Clam Radar is looking for crab. Yeah, it's not going to find crab because it's not there. So that's where copying and pasting can screw you. You just have to be careful for it. So what it's going to need to find is giant clam, not crab. And that is in radar. Transform.find, the look direction, yes, that is the look direction game object. So why do I also have a, let's see, I thought I had a rotation game object. Let's see, find the uses, sure. So the best thing to do would be to look at the crab at the moment. For the look direction. What was that then? Thought I had a look direction game object in here. Let's see. Yeah, look direction game object. Maybe this is something. Yeah, so that should be, if that's in that radar script, it should be in this radar script, but it isn't. Interesting. That's because it's not the radar script, because I'm being dumb. Okay, so the crab radar script is here. Alright, now we can go find usages here. So look direction finds crab.gameObject. And under modulate surface speed, okay, so here is where we calculate, modulating the surface speed, increasing and decreasing the speed based on which direction it's looking and such. So that's why I have the rotation game object there, or the look direction game object. But then I should also have a rotation game object, which I do, which if I go find, it should be the same game object. Which means I just accidentally created two of them. Yep, transform crab game object. So I've accidentally created two of them. At the moment, I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to break things. But let me search this for crab. Let's see. So crab is there. So all that kind of stuff is fine in comments. I'm not worried about that. But here's something: crab item and crab arm item. So dropping an arm item. So let's see here. Range is greater than 50. Crab item. I'm not going to have a crab item. But I will let this become a clam item. So I'm going to go ahead and change that, and then let the crab back out. So if it's been eaten and it's been spit out, and I don't want to have an else here because all is this. Well, actually, I could have an else. I would just get rid of this, the instantiating a crab arm item, so that I'm just destroying it. And I'll just go ahead and remove that too. Hit save. And there, let me go into the scene and see. Let's see. So the radar script is active. So that's curious as to why it would be deactivating unless why would it be deactivating? That is kind of curious. Let's go into the cram, because even the crab radar, if I do deactivate AI, it should only be not the usages, the implementation. It should only be setting the rich AI in the RVO controller, and then yeah, so it shouldn't be deactivating this script. Let me just go ahead and hit apply on this and see if I can go back to the title screen. Yep, I'll save it. Let's see. Okay. Let's go in here. Okay, so it looks like it's still disabled, because otherwise it would be looking at me. Okay, that's interesting. Why are you disabling yourself? Let's see, and let's go for the setup script. Crab, boolean, giant clam, Giant clam setup. Alright, so I have the radar, and all I do is get components on it there. I never disable it here, so I am a little confused as to why it does not want to be enabled. Why do you not want to be enabled? Player, none. So it's not setting the player as the game object, which is probably because I need to assign it in the here. So let's go find player. Not n. Well, the setup gets player. That's fine. Player.transform. So go to find. Well, yeah, declaration player. So game object find tag find player. So we should go to the Clam setup here and do basically a similar thing. And what do I have this? I have it under the FSM array. Not that it really matters much. Although I do need it higher up in the hierarchy than that, because if something is going to be accessing it, yay! When I cut it, it it gave me an empty space. All right, so now things can access it. So I can go down to the Clam radar and do dot player is assigned player. Okay, so that should have that handled. And why do I have an ad in my chat? Really? Okay. And you know, if this is just going to keep staying disabled, it's not really a big deal. I've got plenty of other code to implement and things to gut. So, and it looks like it is. But we can see if there are, check for errors. There is one in awake. So I think what it's trying to tell me, let's go ahead, wait, value is assigned gets angry. Gets angry is there. I think I'm gonna just try disabling that line and seeing what will happen. And it always selects that. Giant clam radar. Really weird. So RVO controller is also disabled. Which I don't remember if it should be or not, so let me jump into this level. Let's see, click on U. RVO controller is not enabled. Neither is the rich AI crab. Do I have a rich AI clam on here? Rich AI giant clam, yes I do. And that should not be enabled. Correct? RVO is disabled, rich AI is disabled. RVO and rich AI, okay. Now I'm going to try commenting out this line and just see what happens. And go back to the title screen. Sure, I'll save it, whatever, doesn't really matter. Okay. I can pull this up. Let's see if we get another null reference when it's done loading the script. Let's see. Uh-oh. Boom. We just started. Okay, so this tells me that it should now be active. Because what I'm probably getting hit with here, with this AI flock manager, I'm probably getting hit. null reference AI flock manager. I'd assume that that is related to the sorry, gotta clear my throat. Ah, yeah, okay, so now you see he's getting all jacked up. Come here. Ah, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see if I can get back over there. Ah, come on. Let me go. I'll just, yeah, I'll just reload, whatever. And just get rid of this guy. Die, 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 die. Okay. So now, the clam is at least active. It's kind of broken, but it is at least active. So if I pause this and go have a look at the clam, okay, so radar, radar is active, and the reason why it's kind of broken is most likely this RVO controller, because I need to offset it a bit. I haven't set any of the RVO controller settings just because I'm just hacking this together. I haven't gotten to it yet. But if I go in here for this RVO controller, I can probably just copy the component and go ahead and paste the component values here. And now if I go into this scene again, hopefully the clam will be above the ground. Let us see. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Alright, good. So, he's rotating and he's looking back and forth depending on where I'm at, which is all good. We still have a null reference in here. Let's see what we have. Go up to the first one. Still the flock manager. So it has something to do with okay. Get component rich AI crab. That's why. Because the AI flock manager had only written to work with crabs. That's why the error is happening. Because this is the first other enemy that I have that would be flocking. Which would mean I would need to find out if the enemy is a crab or a clam. So that's an interesting one. And I'm going to make a note of that. The AI flock manager needs to work with more than crabs. Because the other enemies that I have don't use this flock manager. And I actually might not allow it to work with the clam because of what the flock manager does, really. I might leave it as crabs and just have the clam not register itself. So I'm going to say or don't register other enemy types. Okay. So AI flock manager. So we know where this is coming from, and I should be able to fix that. Initially, I'm just going to go ahead and tell this guy not to register itself. And the reason it's registering itself is because I copied and pasted these FSMs from the crab, and whenever it does this, okay, so stores the root, and then I think in enable here, it adds to flock. I'm just going to disable that. So it's not going to add to flock and take damage anywhere where it dies. I'm going to disable the removing from the flock, because since it has never been added, it doesn't need to be removed. And I'm just going to keep that in there in case I change my mind. So one thing you'll notice, this being related to the crab and all, just being copy and paste, I have things in here like crab item, current arms check, picking up items, dropping items. When it drops its arm, it drops the item it's holding as well. And all that sort of like current arms, has arms, blah blah blah. I really don't need to do for this character, but it wouldn't hurt to have a crab, or have this say be clam item. So I set the bool value in here, crab item. Really what I want to have is, where are you, crab? Set this to clam item, because I do actually want to have a clam item. And let's see, crab item, I don't want to change the name of it. Where are you being used? Only on the drop items. See, drop arm L and drop arm R. Okay, so those were the events being used, and then it's global here. So let's say go and add an event, clam item. And where did you go? So get rid of crab item, and then we want to find clam item, make that global, change this transition here to clam item, and then really these are going to be removed anyway. I hit delete. Are you going to delete? I guess it's thinking about deleting. Think faster, please. Don't lock up. I hope it doesn't lock up. That would be bad. Yay! And since it didn't lock up, I'm going to go ahead and save it before I start gutting this even farther. Alright, so I'm going to say, go in here and set this transition event to clam item. Why are you taking so long? Let me just apply this and try reloading the scene. Maybe it's just upset about something. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of all the arm checkings. Wow. No, it's just not liking it. It is not liking me editing this at all. Okay. There we go. Oh, I know why. I know why it's being a jerk. Ah, let me go. Let me go. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Because of an error, likely. Alright, so it says no errors. That's a lie. This, even just that right there, that would be causing an error, and it had been causing an error earlier. So now all of this, really, still don't like me, do you? Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to figure out why this is a problem. I would have thought that just doing this reloading would have been able to fix it. Yes, I know about the flock manager. Maybe the flock manager thing is just breaking it. It shouldn't be. So if I click this, and okay, now it seems okay. So all of these, chances to drop items, or to drop an arm, 50% like drop arm chance and stuff. All this needs to really just be rewired directly into the, come here. Really? Really? It just needs to be rewired, and I can't select them from this end, so I have to select everything in here from the other end. So anything, so this goes into there. I'm just going to drag it to listen for damage. Everything in here. Okay, so you held punch, listen for damage. You can go to listen for damage. You're going to go to listen for damage. No, listen to damage. Listen for damage. You listen for damage. Because basically this item, or this character, can't drop arms because it doesn't have any. So there's no point in having that extra check going on. Let's see. So there's still a couple things here going on. Ah, okay. So it would be this, yeah, these other sides. So I did like the bottom one. Okay, that goes into there. Let's see. Nothing is going into here. Nothing is going into here. Everything's just going into kill if crab item. And let's see. I don't want the clam item to die. So this just goes from those to kill if crab item or goes directly into dead. So I should just be able to select these, hit delete, and wait, and wait, and wait. Okay. And this drop arm, come on, stop lagging up on me. I wonder if this is just too taxing for the computer. It is a laptop. Okay, come on. Yeah, it's apparently not happy. Let me see if I can go in here and maybe turn this off will help. Maybe that'll help a little. Maybe that won't help at all. Lame. Lame. I don't want to have to do this like offline, but I guess I might. Damn it. Alright, well, let's go have a look and see what else we might need to do in here with code. So the flock manager I'm going to leave alone. Radar. Radar I think we have pretty much good. There might be a orient. No, there's nothing. I would have a different script for that. Bool manager setup. So pickup. Pickup might be something to look at. Crab arm pickup. We can try having a look at this one. Because we're going to implement the item interface, and I'm going to go ahead and implement members. Well, you have to have all of them, so let's go implement them. On collision enter. So what are we doing here? On collision enter, that's if it's a projectile. What about the crab item? Let's go in here and see crab. Pickup. Crab, not the arm pickup, crab pickup. So what do? You've got to have an on collision enter. Let's see. So if the crab's tag is projectile, and it hits something that's not itself, I send damage to that something, and then I basically kill this item. not a bad idea. Let me think about this. Because I could pretty much I could reuse the same tags if I wanted to. So I wouldn't even need to, but that it kind of gets messy, but I don't really want to have to do I don't want to have to do a large, rework of other enemies every time I add a new tag. So it would be really, really better if I could say, instead of crab projectile, just make this large projectile. I'm going to make a note of that. Say large projectile instead of crab. So once again, this sort of thing just comes from me having not had another enemy similar to the crab in any way at all. So a lot of things were just set up for the crab. For now, I can go in here and I'm just going to paste this in. Okay, so I don't have any of this other stuff. I'm going to go ahead. Let's see. What do I want to do? Shadowcaster, projector script, rotation, game object, hit particle, crab radar. I'm going to go ahead and add this stuff up here. This is obviously going to be a clam radar, and we will call this clam radar. We have a movement FSM. This will be the clam FSM array. Let it go. Give me clam. Playmaker FSM is going to be clam take damage. Anything else in here? No, everything looks pretty good. Now for the awake, I need to go ahead and implement this awake method. And I have a cat staring at me. People can't see you. You're not on the camera. Nobody knows you're here. They might think I'm crazy talking to thin air. All right. Crab FSM array. Oops. That's going to be a clam FSM array. There we go. FSM name, crab take damage. Take damage, crab radar. It's going to be clam radar. Yep, I need to get component, crab radar, which is probably bad. I probably really shouldn't be doing this in the pickup. But the reason I do it in the clam, or in the crab pickup, is because the pickup script gets instantiated, or well, you can call it that, gets added to the game object at runtime. Basically, when the crab becomes a pickup, I add the pickup script to it. It is not attached to it any other time. That's why it gives its own variable and does its own get component instead of being set from the setup script, because the setup script would have already run. I'm going to go ahead and leave it set up that way. Other c.gameObject. Okay. Yes. There we go. This is going to be clam. Take damage. Send event dead. I'm going to go ahead and type this as large projectile. Or should it be large or should it be heavy? Hi, you're still not on the camera. Large projectile or heavy projectile? I'm just gonna do large because I already call the items like large item or item large, so I'm just gonna use large projectile. And I should be able to do a control find in here because I think that, yeah, set projectile tag. This is one of the areas. Well, I should probably just kind of go ahead and just fill in each one of these. So let's see, the on collision enter, call set owner, and orient pickup, enable disable. Okay, well, where does call hit collider coroutine come in? Okay, so I scrolled too far. Update, we've done on collision enter, so not implemented. I might actually end up implementing this on this character because it, you know, I might want to make it behave differently. On trigger enter. Let's see, on trigger enter. Do I not have an on trigger enter? I don't have an on trigger enter. So let's see here. And this on trigger enter looks like it pretty much does the same thing that on collision enter does. So why do I have on collision? So if I hit something that's not me and I am a crab projectile, and then on trigger, if the owner is not null, yeah, and I hit something, game object no collider tag is a crab projectile, and the game object is not the owner, is not equal to myself. F's array, crab projectile. I'm going to go ahead and add that. I know I have a reason for having it in here. Coroutine. So I'll go here, and I'm just going to use large projectile instead. So allows it to break through. Yes, okay, this tells me don't kill the crab if simply hitting a trigger. That's right. So that's the difference. Allows it to break through a prick spine's trigger and then hit its collider and blow it up. Okay. That is fine. And I'm gonna have to maybe revisit the triggers because I have to decide how I want the clam to behave. Because I don't really want it to die when it's thrown anyway. I want it to act more like an actual item. Whereas the crab, you know, you rip its arms off and then you throw it and it takes more damage and it dies. Which makes sense for the crab. But for like something like a crab arm item, it makes less sense to do that. It makes sense to treat it like an item and have it blink out or something. So revisit the collision and trigger enter to decide behavior. Alright, that's fine. Call set owner. I should really just be able to copy and paste this and change this over to Clam. Look at that Clam radar. Has owner, movement variable, has owner, shadowcast projector player. Orient the pickup. So orient the pickup. This one's going to have to be, I'm going to have a look at this one to make sure of the angles, because I'm sure these angles are wrong. Because they are for this other mesh and it's rotated differently and all that kind of stuff. Enable box collider. Let's see. So for now, I'm just going to put this stuff in here. I don't have... I'm going to have to revisit, why I'm only enabling and disabling this collider. And really, let's see, box collider. Enable, so I don't have a box collider. I have a capsule collider. And I just realized why I'm doing this. It's for like if the character gets eaten, I need to disable the collider. Okay, so that's easy enough. And the cat is just staring at me. Why? Why are you staring at me? Let's see. Set the projectile tag. That's fine. Except I don't want crab projectile. Remember, I'm going to try to transition over to large projectile. So set item tag. I'm going to want to change this to clam item. Set the held tag. Item large. That works. I don't have to change that. Item type held. Same sort of thing in here. That's fine. Eaten by player. I guess I might want to have that in here. You should be able to eat it, right? It's kind of ginormous and, would be more difficult than eating a crab, but, a crab item, because it's just a big shell. But let's see, what am I doing here? Plus equals item health. So what's my item health? What item health do I have on here? Ah, that would be a problem. It would need to be clam setup. And we'll do item eater. If you're an item eater, I probably need to tone these down as well, because I don't want you to get too much health from them. So let's look at the crab arm pickup. Because these aren't going to be rare. The crab item is a rare thing to happen. This is not a rare thing, not going to be a rare thing to happen. So let's say if yes, we'll give 50, otherwise we'll give it 25. Because you get 25 from eating an arm item, probably shouldn't go below 25 for eating this. Yeah, I'm not going to go below it. We'll just keep 25. Unless you're an item eater. So if it's basically the jerk version of the giant clam. Let's see. I don't think I have an update in here. I don't think I need one. Yep. So, bye-bye update. Don't need you. Whoop. Well, that's a different pickup script, but yeah. Same thing. Crab pickup. Update. Ooh. Yes. So, this one does have an update that basically kills it after a period of time of not being held. So, really, I do want the update, but I'm not going to use it to kill it. Instead, I would use it to instead of doing a dead well, let me think about this. The dead event for the creature, do I want it to just die? Or do I want it to do I want it to like escape, like burrow into the ground or something? I'd rather have it burrow into the ground. I kind of like that idea, but just having it disappear would be easier. For now, I'm going to leave it at dead. And maybe my dead animation for it would be to have it, escape into the ground. I don't know. Okay. So I think, since we have this script here completed, for all intents and purposes completed, we'll find out as we start playing. The next script would be the punch script. So this is where I'll go in and actually create my attacks, which I will then need to fire from the FSM, the Playmaker FSM, and it's going to be loading slowly. Come on. Come on. Alright, so basically these, the clam punch methods, like the crab punch methods, are fired from the FSM, specifically the movement FSM. So when I go down in here and fire something like the jump attack forward, and it disables ping, deactivates the AI, all that kind of stuff. And then it should fire the coroutine jump attack forward. So after that, that would be this coroutine here, and that's how it works for the crab. I had the clam selected because all I did was do a copy and paste. I'm going to have to go through here, create my clam punch methods, and then rename them and stuff based on what I need to do. But just for a preview of seeing what next time will be about, this is what it'll do. I'll disable grabbable, so the player can't grab the item. Basically, if you're jumping through the air doing an attack, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to be grabbed. And then I clear some lists having to do with damaged game objects and stuff. So this one, I trigger a boolean for the animation swim freestyle on the crab. It'll be a different animation like the lick loop on the clam. And then I say, while I am in the wait for ground state, so basically while it's in the air, when it's not in the air anymore, there's a trigger that, at its feet that'll register the ground, and it'll go out of the state. But while it's in the air, I reject items from these lists, the game object list, and then I use, have a timer for clearing the lists as well. And I get the hit colliders with an overlap sphere. So then I just iterate through the colliders, assigning it to a temp game object, and I do some tests on it to make sure, it's not the wall, it's not a ground, it's not a trigger. I don't want to be, throwing damage at triggers. And if it passes all the tests, it gets added to the game object list. At which point I get its FSMs. I look for a take damage FSM, and I send it the contact point at which I hit it and the event that I want it to register. So in the crab punch case, I want to register the club event, and then I mess around with the rigid body stuff, and when it comes out of here, clear the list, return, wait for end of frame, and then just disable. So that's while it's in the loop, it just waits for the next frame, and then once it's deactivated by being out of that state, I unset the boolean and set grabbable to true, and everything goes back about its business like usual. So that will be what I do next time. For now, this is the crab, or the clam. Been an hour. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time. Have a good night.